Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Digest with Jimi Disu. And today is Tuesday, the first one for the week. And Mr. Candy Johnson, SEN. Whenever you put the name, you must put that SEN. It's not Sonwo, it's SEN, Sam. Morning, Yevi.
Good morning.
Okay, well, let me tell my people first. Tomorrow we are going to have Dear Bumi. On Thursday, we are going to look at this earpiece issue, of the slot they've been given in Gatwick instead of Heathrow. Ironically, Gatwick pays me better than Heathrow because I'll be going to the Croydon area. Just one shot like that, yes. But I'm told there are other considerations that come into that decision, and the fact that the Minister for Aviation, Festus, your fellow SEN, fired a letter threatening in the letter, which I disagreed with this morning. You don't write letters like that. If I were him, in a very subtle manner, you don't even get involved as a minister in the first instance. It's agency to agency. And you just tell them, sorry, the slot we gave you, we want to renovate, blah, 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 blah. You won't be able to use it for 6 months, and you throw them to Ibadan. Then they will understand. But he, in the Aluta manner.
Subtlety.
There's subtlety in these things, yes. You don't just go barging in through the door. Well, we get that sorted out on Thursday. Olumide of the Aviation Roundtable will be here. I'm thinking of inviting Helen Demore because she wrote a nice article that I found on LinkedIn yesterday or the day before. And one or two other people. Then on Friday, I gave an open invitation to our listeners that if you really feel you have something to say, please feel free. It's not for big men like Yemi only. It's not for senior advocates. We respect the views of everybody, and that's why sometimes I even bring in children. So I got one of our listeners from Japan who is into food production at some level. And so he says he wants to give us the Japanese experience. That I can't wait to hear. That will be on Saturday. Morning, Mr. Candy Johnson. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
On Saturday, a leading newspaper, Leadership, published some news. Yemi, is your phone there? Okay, can I have it, please? Don't worry, I won't read your messages. I will only look at your SMSs to see what balance you have.
There's nothing there.
So, on Saturday, there was a story in the Leadership about the fact that a CJ is about to be appointed, and they put what do you call female honorable justice, right? Kekere Ekun as a likely candidate, which I think that most of us thought being the most senior is automatic. But I remember we had the conversation some months back, and I felt to myself, and so there was an uproar though. There was an uproar. The APC paid hacks descended on me. How I hated the president. Just for publishing the front page of a newspaper, he's always hate. He doesn't see anything good. I said, Then I said, to Yemi I go. He will solve this problem for me. Has the CJ been appointed? Yes or no, if you're not sure.
Well, the president will nominate a new Chief Justice to replace the Chief Justice who is to retire in a few days.
Yes.
So I cannot tell you whether the president has made the nomination.
No,
that is the process. So when you say appointed, what happens is that the president will nominate and the Senate will confirm.
Does anybody pass the name? He can nominate anybody of his choice?
Well, under our procedure, the National Judicial Council makes recommendations to the president for the appointments to judicial offices.
Okay.
So, or to the governor, as the case may be. So in many other countries, the president can appoint anybody subject to confirmation by the Senate. But our unique procedure requires that the recommendation come on. There's a proposal from the National Judicial Council, which is generally headed by the Chief Justice, and generally has the next most senior person as a member. So it would seem to follow that the arrangement of hand-to-hand succession is something that has become part of our tradition. It's not.
But it's not backed by the law. It's just a convention.
Yes, even to call it a convention is something that is more than a practice, but it has been recent practice, certainly since 1979 at least, that we have had we have had this, if you like, Buggins' turn process by which the next person takes over.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did T.A. Elias not go from T.O. Elias? Sorry, funny thing, my son is named after him. T.A. Elias, was he not made Chief Justice from Attorney General?
Absolutely.
I thought, yeah.
The fact is that there are many. I mean, Sade Tokunbo Ademola was not the most Nigerian judge.
He wasn't the most senior.
No, Lumo Wajibu apparently was senior to him, but there were reasons why that choice was made. The appointment of Chief Justice is a political choice. Make no mistake about it. And then the question, this tradition, if you like, this practice of taking the next most senior person is a way to immunize the judiciary from an explicit choice by political authority. But then you refer to Taslim Elias. He was chosen by the political authority.
Yeah.
Sir Danley Alexander was Chief Justice of Southeastern Nigeria when he was made Chief Justice of Nigeria. Justice Namani was Attorney General when he was made a Justice of the Supreme Court. That has happened in our history, and it's not a remarkable thing. I mean, the present Chief Justice of the United States was appointed at the age of 51 to the Supreme Court. While his appointment was pending, the Chief Justice Rehnquist retired. And immediately the president nominated Justice Roberts as Chief Justice.
Chief Justice.
So he came from out of the court to be Chief Justice. Willie Mutunga, I think is the name, in Kenya, was taken from outside the bar and made Chief Justice of Kenya. This was the result. This resulted in the radical improvements in the Kenyan judicial system in 2010, 2009.
I met a gentleman many years back who was made a judge and wasn't a lawyer.
Of course.
I think he had an economic.
Under our law, you'd have to have legal qualifications.
He wasn't.
Yes, but then the idea of appointing the next person has advantages: immunization, lack of controversy. But then it also has dangerous consequences. So, for example, the previous Chief Justice Tanko Mohammed wasn't even a High Court judge; he was a Sharia judge, and then in the Sharia Court of Appeal. And many would recognize, even from his confirmation hearing, that he was adrift as far as legal.
Well, what do you mean adrift?
He seemed to have, at best, a faint grasp of legal issues. Yeah. But he became Chief Justice of the country. It wasn't the greatest outing for the judiciary.
So, a president has the power to pick a Chief Justice for his own political reasons, for example.
Well, you could say that.
Yes.
In crude and simple terms, you could say so. But the fact is that, for good reason, the Constitution gives to the president the constitutional power to name a Chief Justice. The check on that is that the Senate must be advised and they must consent. So somebody has to make an appointment in any situation.
Yeah.
They can't appoint themselves. The process that is operated by the Judicial with the Judicial Council and their cloistered series of appointments and the way they put it to the next person is a means of keeping control of the judiciary in the hands of judges. Now, I'm not so sure that's necessarily a good thing, because power that is concentrated and is unreviewable is bound to be abused.
How powerful is a current Chief Justice on the National Judicial Council? Does he have emperor status?
More than emperor status.
You're kidding.
I think that the concentration of powers in the judicial system in the hands of the Chief Justice of Nigeria is dangerous, and it is a threat to the effectiveness, to the accountability, and to the efficiency of the judicial system. I think that he's in charge of appointing SNs, appointing judges. He's chairman of everything. Now you see again, people's constitutional practice comes from their history and their practice. So when Sade Tokunbo Ademola was Chief Justice, everybody would defer to him. He was such a big chap. But we've had succession of Chief Justices, some of whom can't. I don't want to be rude. Can't manage.
Please think of a nicer word. I can take a break if you need it.
some of whom can't manage this responsibility.
I remember somebody saying that what he enjoys about both of us being is the sarcasm that goes with it. Yeah, I mean, to be honest and to be right, we've had one or two. I'm going to be less whatever. Yeah. Throw me in jail, like disasters as chief justices.
Yes, but then you see. So again to the choice.
Yes.
If you want to appoint a justice, if the President of America wants to appoint a justice, he's going to appoint a justice who is highly competent and highly skilled and has experience for a start.
Oh, he should.
It won't go past, you see, because of the development of that political system.
Yes.
If he's basically unqualified, I mean, so one of the presidents, Bush, had to withdraw a nomination. I think it was George Bush, W. Bush, had to withdraw the nomination of a candidate who had worked for him as a lawyer, who the American Bar Association described merely as qualified. The minimum recommendation from the American Bar Association is highly qualified. So when they said this one was qualified, they were telling you all that you needed to hear. No insults intended. Yes. So you have to meet a certain threshold. But then you also have to bear in mind, a court must have ideology, whether you like it or not. If it's a tendency to commercialism, if it's a tendency to strict adherence.
Give me an example. The current CJ we have now,
yes.
What would you say was his own, was his own ideology?
I think a problem with our succession and the previous chief justices is that it's not possible to identify an ideology, because there must be judicial ideology. And the Chief Justice holding office must have some idea. They must say, what does this Chief Justice think? What are the past decisions he or she has made, which will give you an inkling as to whether they tend to conservative, whether they're more radical.
Do you think a lot of your colleagues were happy with the tenure of the current Chief Justice? Do you think they were happy with it?
If you were his brother, I guess you would.
That I understand. If you don't know it, you don't know it.
Well, no, like I said, I haven't conducted a poll.
Yes,
but you can ask me my own opinion. But all I can say is that I can speculate that if he was your brother,
yes.
you would be pleased.
Yes. Not with all those benefits, you would.
Well,
okay.
I say no more than that.
No more than that. Yes, I quite understand. So is there any controversy? Is there any? Come on, tell me something. What are Guan, like the reggae people would say? Is there anything? Is it automated? Is it assumed? Is it going to be a smooth sail?
Again, let me say that the nomination of a Chief Justice is one of the most important powers that a president has.
Yes.
And it's a political decision. And when a president takes the decision to nominate the next most senior person, he's avoiding controversy and he's not rocking the boat. He's saying this is the way it's been done before. I don't want to bear that line. I'm going to leave it alone. But in many jurisdictions, I refer to Kenya, I refer to the United States, even the UK, there's no tradition of appointing the next most senior individual. A judgment is made as to who will carry the judiciary in the direction that is required. That will improve its efficiency, its orderliness, and perhaps reflect a certain ideology. I don't mean a partisan political ideology. I mean an ideology in judicial thinking. So this is the task. So that is what should be done. But as to whether there's controversy, then in respect to each individual, the president has to decide what he's going to do. Is he going to follow the tradition and avoid controversy? Or is he going to take a bold decision and take the political consequence of appointing a person or nominating a person who he thinks will be beneficial to his idea of what the judiciary should be? It's not about elections or about winning individual cases. The president who sits in office should be beyond the individual decision of a particular judge. The appointment of a Chief Justice who has such overpowering influence over the judicial system in Nigeria should be based on a clear decision as to what the task of that individual will be in office and their capacity to bring it about.
But I'm inclined to believe that this current set of politicians place a very high premium on the judiciary. They've sucked up to them. Comparatively, they've sucked up to them, placed a high premium. Do you think the president might be doing that?
Well, I don't know. What I think.
I know you don't know his mind, but
yes,
from what you have seen,
if you're a politician, and that includes you and me, you have to recognize the forces that range over the field where you operate, and you have to decide what type of deference to make. So as a lawyer, even if I have a disdain for a judge who I believe to be corrupt, I will still call him my lord. So there's inevitable deference to people who hold power and authority. So this would be natural for a chief justice, for a president to defer and be respectful to a chief justice is natural. The question you ask, behind the question you ask, is a more sinister proposition that the judges somehow, the politicians somehow feel that captivating the judiciary is a task. Well, some may feel that view, but the effectiveness of judges and the judicial system in general depends, and therefore its value even to politicians and government is in its credibility. If people believe that judges can be purchased and disposed of as they will, the judiciary becomes less of an effective tool for stabilizing political society. So you can't have it both ways. So you have to give some distance, and you have to say, well, look, this person, you have to be able to justify your choices. If you appoint your houseboy as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, nobody's going to believe in his credibility.
So what do you think lies ahead for a new CJ, for example? Any need for reforms? Any need for change of attitude?
There's a huge and crying need for reform in judiciary. If a new Chief Justice, it's a big job. The thing that I bear in mind is that you cannot accept responsibility unless you have authority. Otherwise, you're just going to be made a fool of. So if you accept a position, after the fancy dress is the work. Is our judicial system fit for purpose today? Eminently not. I mean, cases are taking 20 years to go in the High Court. There's a lack of efficiency in the proceduralization and the ordering, the protocols by which cases are brought to court. Foolish and irrelevant cases go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court docket is crowded. The Supreme Court docket is overloaded with irrelevant and trifling cases. There has to be a way to regulate access to the Supreme Court. Not every case for which leave should be allowed. Not every case for which extension should be allowed. There's a whole system and a whole proceduralization which is required to make the system of justice more efficient. You cannot decide every single case because you have to decide the cases that are most important. And if you have an efficient system, less cases will come to the courts. There's a huge scope for reform for a reform-minded Chief Justice, and a new Chief Justice would have that power. It depends on if that Chief Justice has the will. Forget about whether you're going to be liked or loved. You're going to be out of the job in 5 or 6 or even 10 years. So you need to take the bull by the horns at the earliest stage. And the only way to test your authority is to exercise it.
Okay, we are going to take your calls, 0201-277-0993, and the female line 0201-465-7190. And of course, we have the WhatsApp line is 0809-597-5805. Now, this is, we have to handle this subject with a lot of caution and maturity. So I plead that, to put it bluntly, just mind your language, whatever you might think. So we'll take our first caller of the day. Do we have one, Mr. Sheriff? No, okay, our lines are open now, and you can call in. We have one now. Okay, you have just about a minute. We'll go and break out. Hello, good morning. Hello, morning. Hello, morning. We have bad network. Let's see if we can get another one. Hello, good morning. Sorry? Network is bad, yes. We have a problem. Okay, it's almost 9:24. Okay, so let me quickly take that one. Then we'll go and break. Hello, good morning. Oh dear me. Sorry? It's not good. So they shouldn't call.
They can call.
They can call. Okay, try again. Can they call the female line if male, since the network is not good? Yes, you can call across the lines now with anyone that you get. But whatever you do, don't call my own line. Okay, we'll take a short break anyway. We have less than a minute. When we come back, I'll continue my discussion with Mr. Candid Johnson. So don't go away.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to ignite your career in the media industry? Wazobia Academy Spark program is back and better than ever. Registration opens Monday 15th July and closes September 24th. Physical classes holds 25th, 26th and 27th of September. Spark 3.0 is offering 3 incredible courses running simultaneously. Becoming an OAP, series writing and video shooting and editing. 16,000 naira only for each course, covering both online learning and 3-day physical training. What are you waiting for? Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to kickstart your career in the creative industry. Visit www.wazobiacademy.com/Spark 3.0 to register or send a WhatsApp message to 0908-826-5038 or call 0911-111-1221. Terms and conditions apply. Wazobia Academy. Learn and lead.
Trader, are you ready for the flight? Yeah. Maximize your gains day or night. The platform, HFM is the name. Trading with us is a brand new game. Come on, feel alone. Execution slow. Switch to HFM. Watch your success grow. Higher leverage, tighter spreads and swap free. Got your back in this financial fight. Trade forex, commodities, indices, shares and more. Just come and see HFM online trading. Withdrawals, deposit done in a dash. Our execution too fast. HFM stands apart from the rest. HFM stands apart from the rest.
Pico, HFM finito. HFM is it. HFM national platform. Online trading, forex trading. Any trading, HFM no delay.
Join HFM today. Visit www.hfm.com or download the HFM app on Google Play or App Store. HFM, online trading at its finest.
Every morning, na better chance to carry your hustle go higher level. So, make you start your day with the correct taste of Nescafe. Start strong, finish strong. Nescafe.
Are you that parent that will give your all to see your children succeed? You have found a partner in Bridge International Academies, a network of community schools in Lagos and Osun states. With your children at Bridge International Academies, they get a life-changing education and the school fees are unbelievably affordable. Visit www.bridge.sch.ng or call 0700 333 2222 to register your children or for more information on communities where our schools are located.
I'm in love. Sonia tomato mix, stand up. Is it to open? Is it to squeeze? Is it to scoop and is it to stir?
Sonia tomato mix in a new stand-up pouch.
Who says you can't have it all with one play?
I got that defined point. You have just won yourself.
Congratulations.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, Melitus. One player, don't talk to 2 players because you won 20K.
So now you won yourself 20,000 naira. My name is well done. Okay, well done. I want to tell you, well done. You won yourself 20,000 naira.
With 500 naira, you can play to win big from 120,000 naira to 190,000 naira daily on Nigeria Info. Go to oneplay.ng and play with 500 naira. And in a few seconds, your ticket is in the draw. Or dial *347 *880 *3 hash. Win daily on Nigeria Info. 50,000 naira on Money Crossfire. 60,000 naira on WhatsApp Lagos. 20,000 naira on Sunnyside. And 60,000 naira on Game On. So Lagos, what are you waiting for? The more you play, the better your chances of winning. Remember to dial *347 *880 *3 hash. Play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18.
Nigeria Info's I Beg to Differ Tournament of Champions is underway with twists, fixtures, and champions from across Nigeria. At 4 o'clock, Adekbetu Adenike and Etomi Bernard Samuel will square up to each other on the topic. Will suspending duties and taxes on imported food positively impact the nation's food security? And at 5 o'clock, Chimereme Eberebe and Mary Uke Ashia will go toe-to-toe on the topic. Is censorship a necessary tool for maintaining social order or a violation of free speech? Judges will vote to give one loser a second chance in the competition. Who will they be? Nigeria Info's I Beg to Differ tournament. 16 champions, now 15. One winner, 2 million naira. Well, I am Yvonne Okhaifo. Join Femi Obang Daniels and me from 4 p.m. on Nigeria Info as we find out I Beg to Differ, a tournament of champions.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info. Nigeria
Info. You're listening to Jimi Disu, right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Okay, you're welcome back to the sorry about that. You're welcome back to the Daily Digest with Jimi Disu. And I still have a Yemi Candid Johnson essay. And every time I keep saying, every time you must quickly add that.
Otherwise, I might forget.
We journalists should get some kind of title. If I was a lawyer now, wouldn't I be some kind of essay? So how come we don't have a senior journalist on title?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think I will create one for myself.
Yes. To start with Wahala.
Well, I put one. Okay, so essentially, we don't really expect any fireworks or controversy.
I'm not expecting any fireworks or controversy.
You think it will be a smooth sail?
That is my impression.
This is a dangerous one. Any feelings about whom the incumbent might be? Do you know a bit of her history?
Well, the next most senior justice is Justice Kudrat Kekereakun.
Yeah.
She comes from Lagos State, where I come from. So
that's an advantage.
I should be pleased.
Yes.
That regard. We're not friends. So I don't. But I know her family very well. She comes from a distinguished family, a line of public service, and I think that for someone like myself, because of what I know, I believe that coming from that sort of heritage is a burden which an incumbent must carry with responsibility. If I was to speculate as to how she would conduct herself on the basis of what I know of her family, I would say she would conduct herself with dignity, with decorum. I would say that she would act with integrity. I would say that she would act with responsibility. And that is what I think her great late father would expect of his child.
That's Alhaji
H.A.B. Fasinro,
yes.
Very distinguished Nigerian.
Extremely distinguished, yes.
So when you look at, they say Omotani, that's what we say, and this is important. I mean, I can look at the history of Chief Justices of Nigeria, and from their background, I can see how they performed. Adetokunbo Ademola, Sir Daniel Alexander, Justice Muhammad Lawal Uwais. These are people who...
To Elias, my godfather.
Tio Elias.
Please.
These people come from... Yes, let me not forget your godfather. If you look at names which have weight and credibility, my expectation has not often been disappointed. But when I don't know of a person or their background or their history, I'm not able to judge, and I will just have to watch and wait. But with a person of this character, I would have very high expectation of her.
So she comes highly... What about in the legal profession itself? The judgments she's had to, is she... How...
Look, every judge has judgments which some people agree with and some people don't agree with.
Yes.
Sometimes some of the judgments... I remember a judge telling me when I was participating, criticizing a judgment in which that judge had been involved, and the judge said to me, Senior Advocate, have you read this judgment? Please go and read this judgment. And that's important, People will form a conclusion without reading and understanding your legal thinking. Sometimes the legal thinking which appears politically inappropriate may be inevitable.
Legally.
We don't know. So I wouldn't criticize a judge unless I had read a judgment. So back to your question. I think that, by and large, this is a judge who's respected for the type of speeches she has made, the type of judgments she has given. From her record, she does not have a record that has been impugned by corruption and accusations of impropriety. And this is an important foundation upon which to proceed. There are judges who have become Chief Justice of Nigeria who have been previously indicted in corruption inquiries.
Okay, so I think we have a caller there now. Let's try again. Hello, good morning. Hello? And her state of origin won't be an impediment since the president himself is from Lagos State. It doesn't matter.
Well, everything in Nigeria is about balance because we have a diverse federation and you try to reflect inclusion. But since T.O. Elias, there hasn't been a Chief Justice of Nigeria from Lagos State.
Lagos.
And in the ordinary course of things, she would be the next Chief Justice. So to dislodge that order, you would have to have a special reason. And there are a variety of reasons. The judgment belongs to the president. There would be a variety of reasons. If there was good reason, then you could skip that line of succession, which is settled and uncontroversial. But if you chose to follow a controversial line of succession, you'd have to justify it politically.
The Supreme Court is Supreme Court of Nigeria. That's also occurred to me, which means that quite a lot of interest will be putting pressure on the president.
Yes.
For or against.
Of course.
I saw a bit of that, like I told you when I put that. Innocent was a front page story of the leadership, and as people don't understand postings of people like, I'm a journalist. I don't agree with every post. Okay, but sometimes I put it there for public interest.
Yes.
That, okay, this is what has been reported.
Yes.
The paid hacks, they descended on me.
We're all paid. We're all paid hacks.
I'm not a paid hack. They abuse the living. They abuse the living daylights out of me.
Well, when you make a comment, and publishing that is people are going to draw their conclusions. This is the public space. The virtual public space is a dangerous place.
Very.
So you must expect that. If you make what did you mean by that? They will ask.
By that, yes.
And people will draw their own conclusions. This is inevitable.
But some of the conclusions they drew, I was like, somebody's going to be CJ.
Yes.
Is there anything I don't know?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know what type of insults you suffered, and because they may what they said may indicate what they were thinking was the result of your publication. So I don't know. But then in reality, it's inevitable. You can't take a position of leadership without expecting to be abused.
Yeah, and I'm used to that.
Yeah,
but I'm not a leader.
You are a leader. You're a leader of thought. And what you say and publish matters. Otherwise, people aren't going to listen to it. That's a fact.
I don't want them to.
So what you say is important. Yes.
Okay, let's take that. Let's take that call. Hello, good morning. Okay, so okay, hello.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Morning.
Uncle Jimmy, you're Dogo 1 and 2.
Thank you very much, Justina.
This is my fault.
Go on.
In respect to the question asked to the guest about the woman about her state of origin, based on the narration on this current president political appointment and the fixing of positions, it appears that that line of appointment will be criticized by a lot of people. They say the president is solely focused on the Lagos boys and girls and stuff like that. But based on what the guest says there, it seems like the woman, because I've heard of this woman, this kicker of a woman, because I used to work...
God, now. Come on, mind your language.
Sorry, sir.
Sorry, I'm going to knock you off. You're not fit for public address at all. I do apologize for that. I mean, come on, this is not a marketplace.
And some people don't know how to speak.
Honestly. I'm embarrassed. My apologies. Let's speak, please. Mind your language. Mind your language, please. Let's pick another one. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Kujimi.
Afternoon. Where are you calling from? Indonesia?
Jakarta, Indonesia.
Yeah, okay, you're the one. How are you? Please go on.
I'm good, sir. My question is for Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
And it's for educational purpose. You keep saying that the president appoints, he appoints. And when I was much younger in school, they taught me there are 3 tiers of government. So my question is the judiciary actually independent? This one that going by the fact that the president appoints, is the judiciary.
That's a nice question. In balance. Yes.
Independent. And sorry, another backup question: who is the head of the judiciary? Like I said, for educational purpose, is it the Attorney General or the Chief Justice?
Oh, for educational purposes, is the Chief Justice.
Yeah.
Okay, but go on to the first question.
Well, for educational purposes, somebody must make an appointment, and in every country in the world of which I'm aware, the executive appoints judges. But then you appoint them to be independent and impartial. And this is not inconsistent. To appoint somebody, as I said earlier on, the quality of justice delivered, the reputation for impartiality and independence is what makes the device valuable. If the president is going to appoint his houseboy, his girlfriend, and his daughter, and they cannot deliver, then it's going to be a problem. So the problem is not in the appointment. There's a process by which the judges are selected and appointed, but then the appointment is a seal of the sovereign that appoints a judge in England, in America, in France, in Ghana, in any country. So this is not the problem. The problem is that do they select men and women who are competent, skilled, and have a reputation for independence and impartiality?
Okay, so let's. I don't want to let you go without talking a bit about the Patriots' visit to the president. I don't seem to like it. I believe, yes, they have their interests as a group, but I don't think they should impose their interests on them. If you're so, this is my take for their members, that if you feel so strongly about these issues, go contest to be in the National Assembly. Rather than, how do we have, you first of all have a National Assembly, then you have another confab. It's a prescription for chaos.
Well.
And the gentleman I saw on TV, he made one remark that made me shake my head. He said that even he was at the last constitutional conference.
Yes.
He was supposed to represent his people. He admitted his people didn't vote for him, but that the president appointed him as addendum. Is that how a country is run? With democratic practices?
Well, the Patriots is a small group of interested political
Unless
actors.
they're an interest group.
Yes, of interested political actors.
Yes.
Any political actor has a right to present their own view to everybody. And if they have access to the president, to present it as well. It's for the president to exercise judgment. The president will receive counsel from a wide variety of sources, but the buck stops on his table. He decides what. So I don't attach any particular
But not when you say you want another kind of conference again.
Yes.
At whose expense?
Yes.
I think we've had enough of that.
Well, you know,
we should allow our parliament to do their job.
They can say what they want. They can say what they want because I could say, for example, I want free ice cream for the next 25 years. That's just my ambition.
Your wife will kill you.
So this is my ambition. So they can express their views. I think that you will find the way I would characterize their intervention is another elite group attempting to impose its dominance over the course of Nigerian governance.
Exactly.
I don't regard it as particularly hefty. These are distinguished individuals, but then they are not representative of any particular constituency.
But theirs.
So what they say
which
is valuable.
Is it the elite or what?
It's a small elite group. If you and I had an opinion to express to the president, that would be a small elite group too. Except that having you in it would make it radical leftist, dangerously revolutionary.
Do you for once think that I'm some kind of radical?
Yes, Che Guevara. There's nothing on you.
But I'm not the one who has a Fidel Castro shirt. And I don't smoke cigars. So yeah.
We can work on that.
We can work on that. Yeah, I think so. Because I think that Constitution is the last of our problems. We first of all need to change the mindset. Whatever constitution you have, if we still have the same mindset that we have now, where people don't even respect simple laws of living.
This is why constitution comes from up, not from down. It is a political. It is a document which recognizes the history, the experiences, the values, and the aspirations of the people it intends to.
Yes.
So you cannot have people parachute from Knightsbridge and tell us what they want to be in the constitution. We've heard you, but we want to hear from others as well.
Yes.
You cannot usurp leadership, because the process in a democracy by which leadership is taken is by the process of election. So it's nice, we give you respect, you're elderly gentlemen, thank you for what you have to say. But then the constitution must come from the people.
Exactly.
And we will go to those who speak for the people.
Mrs. Oboli says that what did she say? Something is cumbersome. She says, okay, good morning. Okay. Aside judges' reform, don't you think our laws and constitution should also be reformed as well? Because they seem to favor those in power than the common man. These are my own views, Yemi. Forever, you'll always be reviewing something.
Of course.
In your constitution, anyway, it's an exercise. It's an endless exercise.
Of course.
Times also make certain things change.
Yes.
Certain laws change. So I don't think it's a big deal.
No, it's not a big deal. I mean, Joe Biden last week recommended a constitutional amendment to reform the Supreme Court. This is normal. Political societies evolve, and the measures by which you continue to try and when the Americans talk of making a more perfect union, the union is never perfect, but each day you try to make it more perfect by adjusting to things. That's why I say, what are your fears? What are the dangers? What do you want? This is what we incorporate into a political system.
I think our own major problem is the dramatist personality, the kind of people that politics throws up. And that's also because those who probably would have made a better contribution take a back seat.
Of course, and that's a mistake.
And that's a mistake.
This is why I say you and I are politicians too, because we have an interest in what goes on around us. We have an interest in how our lives are ruled. Man is a political animal, as the philosopher says. You cannot, unless you sit quietly in a dark room, you are going to be political because you want to influence the man next to you as to your own ideas and preferences.
But how do you think the president is going to react to their visit?
He's given them deference and respect. I think that
a lot of it.
Yes, I think that he must in that respect. But I suspect that the president is aware that there is a need for our constitutional arrangements to evolve, and I think in many of the steps that he has taken, he seems to be recognizing this. Even something as simple as the development commissions for the Northeast, Development Commission for the Southeast. Those are measures by which power and resources are being devolved to areas that require them and where they can be managed in an accountable fashion. This is a model of constitutional reorganization. It's not about having a grand event. And this is why when you have this visit of grandees attending on the president, it just seems it seems somewhat distant from the reality of politics on the ground. And they have to defer to that. They have a legitimate object. The Constitution must evolve. Laws must evolve, and they must improve. But it's not by magic.
Okay, we have a caller there now. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Jimmy.
Yes.
Yes, my name is Nosike.
Your name is?
Okay, Nosike.
Nosike, Mr. Nosike. Okay, go on.
Okay, I've actually listened to a couple of SANs reach the current CJN poorly, especially in terms of reforms. And they've also argued that the CJN is a lot of bodies in one. Too many jobs is the presiding officer of the Supreme Court, Chief Justice of Nigeria, Chairman FJC, Chairman NJC, Chairman Legal Practitioner, Privilege Committee, etc. And that no one should have all this equation of powers. So does he think that office needs to be unbundled to make it more accountable?
And then what do? You have two CJs?
No. I think 100% he's right. I don't know about the question of senior advocates rating her on judicial performance, judicial reform, because she's not had any responsibility for judicial reform previous to now. So we have to make an assumption as to what she will do on the basis of what you know of her.
But how do you unbundle the responsibility?
I think that the concentration of power in the office of the Chief Justice is counterproductive. I think it's dangerous. I think it's liable to abuse. I think we've seen it abused.
Really?
Of course.
You want to give an example? You'd rather not.
Well, let me answer the main question first. I think that you need to an acute concentration of power in one's hands in the hands of a mischievous person can be very dangerous. In the UK, the Judicial Appointments Committee is majority composed of non-lawyers. I think there's only 1 or 2 judges out of 13 people. So the fact is that this is a resource paid for by the public for the public use. The public is entitled to have its own best minds review the appointment of judges and their promotion. But in our country, because there was an excessive attempt at the creation of the 1979 Constitution to immunize the judiciary, we concentrated power in the hands of the Chief Justice, not knowing that the person holding that office could change and some could be more responsible than others. I think the past Chief Justice, in appointing a succession of his relatives to important offices in the judiciary, has done discredit to the reputation of that office, even if they're qualified. It's not everything that you can do that you do.
That you do.
You have to exercise judgment, and I think that it looks to me like poor judgment. So that's an example. If you wanted me to give you a specific example.
Yeah. Nicely put.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll take my last caller for the day and round up. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Morning, sir.
Yes, sir. My name is Emmanuel. I'm calling from Mogba.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, thank you for the topic you have brought up this morning, sir. Yes, the question I want to ask is that if our constitution allows the president to appoint who should be the head of the judiciary, and we know that the three arms of government should be the executive, the judicial, and legislative. Is it not better for judiciary also to have a way of being more independent? Because it seems in Africa at large, maybe not in Europe, I don't know, but in Africa at large, that aspect of government is being exploited. Probably, I think, because of this level of power that the executive has on it, just by being the one to appoint them. For example, the legislative, we have to vote them. We have to vote in the executive. But for the legislative, why is it that they have to appoint the legislative? To me, that gives them more power to override.
Can I ask you a question? If you were told to vote for someone to be appointed, to be elected, as the case would be, a judge, would you know what to look out for? Definitely not. Don't say, of course. Are you a lawyer?
I'm not. If I'm asked to appoint somebody, sir.
But if I can make a comment,
yes.
It is the common practice across the world that the sovereign appoints judges in many places, but in different degrees. It is not inevitable. I understand what he's saying. If you are afraid that the executive, that in your own political context and in your political experience, the power to appoint has been abused by the executive, there's nothing wrong with investigating alternative devices. There's nothing wrong with saying, for many judicial officers in the United States, for example, are elected. Many judicial officers are elected. So, but then they decided that was necessary because judges should be accountable to the people who they serve. But they decided that in higher offices, the president should be allowed to pick from that pool of people who he thinks will achieve. So there is a balance to be struck. And that discussion is not a discussion that can't be had. That we're not satisfied with the type of justices we've had in the Supreme Court. Is there an alternative means by which we can strain and establish?
Well, we should also hold ourselves responsible for the state, because we're all complicit.
Sure.
We're all complicit. We see things stare us right in the eye, and we hope somebody else will come and do the dirty job for us.
We just want to complain, but we don't want to take part.
We don't want to take part.
You have to take part. Nobody can refuse to take part. As unpleasant as it may be, if you're asked to do something, if in reality, if your country needs something from you, even your life, it belongs to them, not to you.
Well, I'll have a very good friend. He will stand in my stead. On that note, I got to go. Thank you very much, Yemi Gandhi Johnson.
It's a pleasure as always.
As usual, it's always a pleasure to have you. We'll be back. We'll be back here tomorrow. We'll be back here tomorrow, God willing, same time. And tomorrow we'll be there with me. Sheriff, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Kucheno. What's up next?
What's up, Lagos?
That's not how they say it. You want to try? I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.